Welcome back after a short break. Now I'm with Maxim Salnikov, who is developer engagement lead at Microsoft, and Maxim will deliver presentation about very well known, very gaining much more popularity nowadays topic, which is ChatGPT. In his presentation under title ChatGPT, and not only how to use the power of GPT-3 models at a scales, and of course, do not hesitate, do not wait until the presentation will finish. Just write your question, the Maxim on a chat. So Maxim, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much. Hello, folks. Good morning. I'm super happy to present at Microsoft Tech Summit, and this is one of my favorite topics to present about. All these amazing things about the current state of generative AI, and of course, how to use this in your real projects. And by the way, I think I have to update the title of the session and this title slide, because when I submitted it was GPT-3, now it's GPT-4, and who knows when GPT-5 and 6 and the next iterations are coming. So we'll talk about these things in general. Briefly about myself. I live and work in Oslo, Norway, and I think I have really great job. I help developers to succeed with cloud and AI technologies. Personally, I'm building something for web since late 90s of the last century. So yes, I'm that old. Decades in the web development, and I'm big fan of the developer communities. I run few meetups here in Oslo where I live, and I often speak, present, train and blog on my favorite technical topics: the web development, cloud, and of course OpenAI. Let me start from this bold statement. AI, artificial intelligence, is not something as a future for you, for your company, for your project. No, folks, it's here and it's now. And these numbers from research by Gartner and Bain show that, first of all, adoption of AI multiplied in the last few years, and vast majority of executives in the companies, they have very strong concrete plans on implementing AI in their products. And of course, many companies already actively use these technologies. And we in Microsoft are here to help. So basically, we are here to fuel to this motion and to empower all developers to use this kind of functionality and possibilities, and we have very serious investments in that area. Over 1,000 people work in a number of research centers across the globe, and these very smart people work hard on both theoretical part of AI and of course practical. So this so we have lots of patents, we have lots of research papers. And of course, thanks to this kind of efforts and this kind of investment, Microsoft made serious breakthroughs in artificial intelligence. On this slide, you see a few of them focused on achieving human parity. And that means that since this particular time point, machines, computer are better in this particular task than us, than humans. Maybe sounds a bit scary, right? But since 2017, for example, computers better understand speech. Since 2021, computers are better in answering questions, and so on and so on. And who knows who could be what could be the next breakthrough in that area. On the product side, again, thanks to this kind of investment and efforts into research of artificial intelligence, we were able to build not just one family of the products, but few families and like multiple layers or levels of AI offerings wrapped into our cloud offering called Azure. starting from bottommost layer, Azure machine learning. This is for data scientists, for data engineers, where they can create models from scratch, train this model, deploy this model, manage this model, and of course, all based on well-known open source tools. If you don't have data science department in your company, but still want to use power of artificial intelligence, we have you covered. We have set of ready-to-go models, yeah, you just use these features via API endpoints. We have domain-specific models like big picture vision, speech, language, decision, and one more that is in our today's focus, but a bit later on that. So, for example, we have APIs for you to convert speech to text, text to speech, and this kind of functionality is in production for years. So it's very well tested, it works fine, and it's getting better and better with every iteration of every new release. On top of that, we have even more specialized models. And again, so the models are ready for you to use via just API endpoints. You don't have to be data scientist, you don't have to be data engineer, you just can add this functionality to your application immediately, just as a developer, just as if you're able to trigger API endpoint. So task-specific models, you see bot service, cognitive search, and so on. One of the most impressive, personally for me, is form recognizer. So you just submit, again, to API endpoint your quick and dirty scan or photo of invoice, receipt, could be distorted, JPEG, blurred, not very quality, and immediately as a result you get JSON or XML, you choose, with all data you have on this financial document. For example, if you talk about the receipt, it's content of the orders, name of the legal entity, contact, date, and everything else. And furthermore, if it was not in English language, it can be automatically translated without any extra actions from your side. And of course, we actively inject AI possibilities into our own products. Maybe you heard about whole family of copilots to be released soon, hopefully this summer, in particular in Microsoft 365 products. So now we have not only GitHub Copilot that helps developers to write and understand code, but we have Copilot for pretty much all users of our Office applications. And of course, this is all to simplify our lives like in general. But let's focus today on that service, Azure OpenAI, and it's for a reason, because again, I have no doubts, folks, that you heard about OpenAI, ChatGPT. It's constantly in the headlines, in the news, lots of articles, not that many, but still there are some courses how to start using this. So what's the reason of all this noise and all this hype around these technologies? Well, if we can summarize what this article says, we can say that it's massive disruption. And actually, this is what this is how article on Forbes called dedicated to that topic: massive disruption, and hopefully positive disruption in how we live, how we work, how organizations work, how countries live pretty much everywhere. And Microsoft's founder Bill Gates names this kind of breakthrough is the most important advance in tech since 90s, and the previous advance of that scale was invention of graphical user interface. And there are lots of applications of ChatGPT nowadays, like entertaining, for business. Internet is full of these articles. Some futurists say that in a couple of years, 90% of what we see and what we consume in internet could be generated or co-generated by artificial intelligence. Maybe not that positive prediction, but again, who knows? We'll see. Yeah, some professions, some industries are heavily rely on ChatGPT functions these days. For example, real estate agents, at least in US, they say that they can't imagine their day-to-day job without using these features. And Microsoft is here to help even more by introducing this family of copilots. And all this massive disruption leads to the fact that organizations, both commercial and public sector and the governments and countries, have to come up with some rules and policies how to survive in this rapidly changing environment, and where like everything is at least co-generated by AI. And Stack Overflow was one of the first who kind of temporarily banned these answers generated by artificial intelligence. So we all know that Stack Overflow is all about code samples, right? And of course, it's very natural area for this AI-generated code to present there. So they want to come up with some policies. Maybe they will mark these samples that they are AI generated, or at least I hope that this ban is will be removed very soon. Same for organizational institutions like New York City public schools banned use of ChatGPT on their devices. And of course, yeah, maybe that's not an optimal decision, right? I mean, instead of prohibiting something, it's better to find ways to leverage these superpowers. And same for whole countries. Recently, Italy banned ChatGPT, whatever that means, and then they lifted this ban after some understanding found with OpenAI company. So this slide is just to confirm many things are going on around these technologies. Let's explore them a bit, and let's start from, let's say, taxonomy, from terms definition, because I have no doubts, again, that you heard about OpenAI, ChatGPT, GPT-3, 4, Dall-E, and there is always Microsoft somehow in these conversations. So what is what, who is who, and how the things are interconnected? Yeah, let me provide full clarity on that so we are on the same page. OpenAI was founded back to 2015 as a non-profit organization with simple to formulate but extremely hard to achieve mission. And I will use my own words to express this. It's about democratizing use of generative AI and large language models in particular for everyone. Again, you don't have a chance to build, to train, and to manage, after all, large language model of that scale yourself, as personally and even as an organization, because it requires not only knowledge, not only a team of data scientists, but also extremely large computational power. And this is where Microsoft jumped in to help OpenAI with investment in form of actually exposing our data centers for training models like that. And you know that Microsoft has quite a few data centers around the world, so we have this needed computational power. But even with Microsoft's possibilities, it was not, let's say, out-of-the-box solution. Our engineers created custom infrastructure to chain tens of thousands of NVIDIA chips, again, to achieve what OpenAI wanted to achieve, to train large language model or models of that scale. And as we all know, OpenAI and Microsoft succeeded with the mission, and as a result, there is a set of large language models, or yeah, they are either generic or more specialized, but yeah, this is what they created, and not just created for themselves, right? They exposed this model in form of APIs, so everyone can send request and get response to get either text or code or image or who knows what comes next. Well, thanks to this partnership, thanks to this early investment, Microsoft now has exclusive permission on commercial use of these models. I mean, you can use these models on behalf of 2 business entities now. So you can use these APIs directly from OpenAI company. You just go to openai.com and register and start using. But it's more for research, for experimentation, and maybe not optimal for production workloads, at least workloads at scale. Where to host, where to run, where to deploy your models for your large production-ready project? Well, Microsoft has its own service called Azure OpenAI Service, very self-explaining name, right? So we just expose APIs to these models within our Azure ecosystem, and I'm pretty sure that many of you use Azure and you have some projects, either personal or corporate, and for you folks, OpenAI service will be just one more very natural, very native addition to your stack of Azure workloads. We provide access to the main models created and trained by OpenAI. Some of them are in preview though. And of course, you have all possibilities to fine-tune the models. And I believe this is the main scenario for enterprise usage. I believe you don't want to rely on what was found on internet by OpenAI for training these models. I mean, they have lots of data kind of inside these models, right? But they know nothing about your company's data, about your documentation, your products, your services. So you definitely want to involve this data in the loop, and you have multiple possibilities for that. Fine-tuning is only one of the options. And like everything in Azure, you have enterprise-grade security, you have role-based access control, and last but not least, you have Microsoft Responsible AI Framework built in. You don't need to take some extra actions to make sure that you are protected from potentially harmful usage of all these superpowers, from potentially harmful responses. Yeah, we have both sync and async mechanisms to react on, let's say, potential misusage of these models. Now we know all the terms, all the relationships between them, and it's easy to get lost, right, in this number of models, everything. And it's similarly easy to get lost in number of capabilities. So you hear that people say that, yeah, ChatGPT can do everything, right? But what's exactly and how to map these capabilities, these possibilities to your particular needs, maybe to your particular business scenario? We help you with understanding the possibilities by grouping them into 4 large buckets. First of all, it's all about content generation. After all, these all called generative AI. And of course, these models are perfect in creating something either from scratch or based on some examples provided by you. So yeah, just keep this in mind. Content generation is the king there. The next big group is everything about summarization. And on this slide, it's quite busy. I just highlight some of the, maybe the most obvious scenarios, the lowest hanging fruit. For example, you can easily build a service that will summarize social media trends. Just ready to go idea for your next startup. Code generation. I hope that many of you tried GitHub Copilot, and this is a commercial product from GitHub and from Microsoft based on a model called Codex, also created by OpenAI company, and it's specifically to generate and understand code. But here I want to highlight one more possibility. It can help you to document your code. I'm personally not a big fan of documenting my own code, and I'm looking forward to seeing new startups that are covering this task, and all about sophisticated semantic search. And I emphasize word sophisticated here because, yeah, for, let's say, simple keyword based search, we have simpler and cheaper services. But if you need something advanced, yeah, OpenAI models are here to help you. If we change angle a bit and look at capabilities from, let's say, life of the regular company perspective, we can group into other categories. And let's say pretty much all, at least mid to large companies, have finance department, IT department where we work, right? Human resources, and the marketing department. Your folks from finance department will be happy to use product you build for them or other developers build for them, for example, to get natural language like responses for their financial queries, where it's not just numbers but some explanations. In IT, again, back to possibilities of Codex, we can create SQL queries just based on our human language. Your colleagues from HR will be happy to get some help in at least initial screening of tens or hundreds of thousands or thousands of resumes they receive, so it can be very good help there. And of course, marketeers, yes, just endless opportunities, copywriting, ideas, slogans, creating logotypes. I personally created a logotype using Bing image creator that is powered by Dall-E for my recent hobby project, and that's I'm super happy with the result, and it's just one of the opportunities. I hope that I inspired you by some possibilities. And now the next question from your side could be how to start with Azure OpenAI. And I have a set of steps ready to go for you. And the first step is secret. So stay tuned, folks, for like 15 more minutes. This step is on my last slide. So we'll have a demo and then we switch back to slides and I will disclose this secret step. Then it all starts by getting access. And as our commitment to responsible AI idea, you cannot just go to Azure Microsoft.com and create your Azure account and start using OpenAI immediately. No, you have to submit a form first where you have to provide a bit more information about your company, about your use case. So we just want to make sure that every user onboarded to this service is, let's say, good player. And then you are ready to send your first requests to API called completions. I believe this is only one of possible APIs to communicate with the large language models, but it's the main one. I believe you'll use this in 99% of the cases. And it's always about experimentation, about finding your ideal prompt, finding best parameters for your prompt to get exactly what you want from the first try in the best case. And sooner or later, and most likely very soon, you will get to the point when you need to involve your own data. And I will explain you on one of the next slides how to achieve this, just one of the possibilities. And yeah, you are fully empowered to build your own product and be proud of this and share with the world. Let me give you some very essential information about how do you actually communicate with this API, and it's all based on prompts. So we send prompt as a request payload to completions API endpoint, and the prompt can contain the kind of task itself, or our order, or our request or ask, you name it, to the large language model. And then, as you see on this example, it can contain some data we provide together with the order. And also, not on this slide, but you can also explain what kind of results do you want. Do you want it like long or short? Do you want it in human in readable format, or you want to get JSON, and you can even specify what kind of fields you want there. And yeah, you send this prompt as a request, and you get completion or answer from large language model as a result. And we always operate tokens in all these universe, ecosystem, you name it, because this is how we actually charge for using these services. So the more tokens you send and receive, the more dollars or cents you will pay. And if you check Azure OpenAI service pricing, we charge per 1,000 of tokens. One of the questions you can get very soon, right after you got access, what kind of model to choose, because it all starts actually not from sending API request, but from deploying the model. Deployment itself is just like one-click operation, and it takes a couple of seconds only. But the challenge is to understand what kind of model you need for your particular scenario, and there is a long list of the models. Some of them are, let's say, classic GPT-3 based, like DaVinci, Babbage, Curie, Ada. And we also have very specific model with a bit strange, to my taste, name called GPT 3.5 Turbo, that is specifically optimized for chat-like conversations. So maybe if you want to build a chatbot, you have to go for that particular model. And also, unfortunately, we don't have enough time to go through the format of this chat-like communication. But yeah, you actually, instead of one-shot request-response requests like in classic GPT, let's call this GPT-X mode, you send full message back to API endpoint and get a response from the chatbot if you want to build chat-like conversation. And in addition to the conversation itself, if you want to build your chatbot, you can also provide what we call meta prompt, or it's called context on this slide. And this is, let's say, very first initial kind of message to the API endpoint, where we set the stage, where we explain like how to behave, like what, let's say, what kind of agent is that, what kind of data to use, and equally important, what should happen if there is no data to answer this particular question. And I believe for majority of enterprise scenarios, you have to be very concrete and explicitly say that it's better to answer "I don't know" rather than invent something or generate something. So this is again
hello.
what's called system in ChatML markup.
Can you hear me?
What's called meta prompt in lots of documentation from Microsoft, and what's called context in on this slide. And you have to send this with every single request. So don't think that once you send this to endpoint, model will somehow memorize this. No, there is no any kind of built-in memory in the model. So they are still completely context free. So and here we come to the art of prompt engineering, because there is also a limitation of the tokens you can send. So you have to be very, let's say, smart in what kind of message to send. This is what I'm going to demonstrate you in a few seconds as a demo, enterprise ChatGPT sample architecture, how to involve your own data into this chatbot scenario. And in the big picture, you have your application as orchestrator between your own data storage. And in this particular example, it's Azure Cognitive Search, but it can be whatever database you use to store your documents where you want to build a chatbot on top of. Yeah, you use Azure OpenAI service or these APIs for two purposes here. First of all, to understand human-like language, we talk about chatbot, right? And to create a proper query to your database system. It could be, for example, SQL query. And then based on information you received from this database, most likely it's not a human-like conversation, right? It's just a set of documents. You again ask Azure OpenAI to create human-like response on that data. What happens if your prompt still fails? If you can't get the desired results? Learn prompt engineering. This is a very interesting emerging discipline about exactly that topic, how to build your perfect prompt. There's its own techniques, best practices, and I have no doubts that many of you folks who watch this presentation will have prompt engineering, if not as a main job title, let's say by the end of this year, then as a part of your job responsibilities, if you plan to build something on top of these APIs. Now, we have 5 minutes left. Let me temporarily stop slideshow. We'll go back because I have 2 more slides, and you remember that one of these slides is about this secret step, how to start. And let me run some very quick and short demonstrations. We start from this enterprise chatbot scenario, and my colleagues from Microsoft, they built this demo for us. And imagine this is a company internal chatbot where employees can get some information about let's say internal company life and for example employee benefits. And one of question could be, what's included in my health insurance plan? And again, this is chatbot. That means that we use our own human language to communicate with, and we expect answers in the same format. So instead of just searching long PDFs or documents with the documentation, we just ask, what's included in my plan that is not standard? And we got not only the answer itself, and again, it's human-like answer, but also concrete link to where you can find proof of this statement. And this is a demo, right? This is why we have this possibility to check what's going on under the hood and what kind of request was sent to completions API. And we clearly see, based on our human-like not human-like, but real human sentence, what's included, blah, blah, blah. Completion API created search query for our internal database system. So in this example, this is Azure Cognitive Services, but for example, if you have SQL-based database, you can ask ChatGPT to create query for you just based on this input. The query went to database storage. Some documents were sent back, and now we are ready to create a prompt for that kind of answer. And we first of all specify meta prompt, what's called system in chart markup language. And you see that we have special kind of markup here, and this is what's called ChatML, chat markup language, just to help us better structure a meta prompt, answer from bot, answer from human. Yeah, so system. Here we very explicitly say, please use only information that you receive in this prompt. And if you don't know answer, just say, I don't know, instead of, again, inventing something. And in the same prompt, we paste what came back from database system. Again, we don't paste all megabytes or hundreds of megabytes information. This is why we, after all, send this request to get at least some part of the documentation that we can paste and not to overrun tokens limit. So we just paste contents of this PDF. And by the way, here we also explained format, list each source separately, and even some format that we can later convert in front end to the links. And yeah, then as a final part of this prompt, we sent again this query, and what we got here, this part is what was returned by assistant part of all this interaction. So it's interesting that actually this is how Bing works, right? So if we outscale this for global level, the idea is still the same. Based on human query, you query your internal database system, and based on the result, you create again human-like answer. And let me finalize with a demo of Azure OpenAI Studio. This is playground where you can send requests to API endpoints without ever creating your products. It's just a playground sandbox, you name it. It contains a bunch of predefined examples, like summarize this article. So you see, again, prompt engineering is in action. This is the task, and this is the data, and we click generate, and the response is coming in a few seconds. Yeah, so that's actually a summary. There are many more examples, and you can play with your own data, but the main point is to get access to this service. And here I go back to the presentation for last 30 seconds, and let me start it from here. This extremely busy slide is just to confirm that we have all documentation ready for you to learn, to explore. Whole learning journey for you. And finally, this secret slide, how to start using this, the secret ingredient. Find me on LinkedIn, connect with me, and chat with me. I can be your reference when you submit for access to Azure OpenAI service. I can explain you the proper onboarding flow, and I'm super happy to chat about prompt engineering and all the next use cases. Yeah, let's stay connected. Find me, I'm Maxim Salnikov on LinkedIn, and let's continue the conversation there. Thank you very much for your attention.
Okay, Maxim, thank you very much for your presentation. We are slightly running out of time, so we don't have time for Q&A session. So once again, thank you very much for your participation in the presentation. And I also encourage you to rate this Maxim presentation using the stars under the video player that you see. So thank you very much, and see you in a few minutes on a next talk.
Thank you. Bye-bye.